like anyone, I can get into dark spaces, to have tough times, and of course, I've really come out of that, and I haven't been there in a little while now, mostly due to yoga, meditation, prayer, accepting Jesus of Nazareth as doing what he did and forgiving me and loving me and giving me grace. And I pray for knowing a love that will always sustain, and that I will never feel unloved or unappreciated again. And I wouldn't be here if that wasn't the case. So, specifically though, I wanted to talk about one of the ways that if I start getting into like feeling sorry for myself, funk, bulls, whatever nonsense, and not to negate what you're going through or what I go through. It isn't that I haven't had things happen, tough experiences, etc. However, if we're focused on what we have and what is, and not what isn't and what we don't, then like for me, I'll be riding down the road, and maybe I'm in a funk and I see somebody in a wheelchair, and it's just like, wow, I am so grateful that's not me. And not to be crappy to that person. And I've met a lot of people in wheelchairs that are having a great life, and they're smiling. They're choosing not to focus on the fact that they're in a wheelchair. And doesn't that kind of make my point? It's it can get dark out there if you let it. Even the stuff I talk about with women, like, that's one perspective. And even with men, it's just one perspective. We can all do better. And there are really, really, really great women out there. There are the Mary Anns instead of the Gingers, and it's whatever you're into is fine. I just happen to be a Mary Ann man myself. I don't like the model type where, they seek attention and they want, they can get any man pretty much any time. And it's just not my style. If I meet a group of girls, I tend to go after the more homely one of the group that's more sweet and, quiet and that kind of thing. Anyways, that's not the point of my little video today. It is that when I am, I just got onto that because of the fact that I can get lost in these perspectives of, what isn't. And, like I said, it doesn't just because I, give advice to those or to myself that, we could do better, and that there is these certain elements out there, doesn't mean there's not the other side of that, and that there's not a lot of great men and great women out there and that are doing amazing things, and seeing the love in the world when somebody walks up to somebody that is looking for money and they hand them money, or like just people helping people. It happens every day. And so don't forget the beauty in the world, which I just made a video about. There is so much beauty, even human kindness, kindness between people. It's beautiful. And so when I get into these funks, one thing to do for sure is to be of service, to help somebody, to do something nice for somebody. But more specifically, what I wanted to share is, it is about seeing that person in the wheelchair, listening to somebody's story that lost a child, somebody who was an orphan. Like, I may not know my dad, and my mom may have passed away along, however long ago now, at a very young age. May not have really been there for me or been able to be it. There's orphans out there that never met their parents and went through horrible, horrible things in orphanages. And I've, had a couple friends that were in that scenario. I have friends that, one of my friends never been with a girl, like, a sustainable relationship, never had like a real long-term girlfriend or marriage. And I'm like, well, I've said to him, I'm like, excuse me. Imagine having the woman and the kid and losing it all. Is it better to have loved than lost? I don't know all the time. I just know that it is based on our perspective and being grateful. And a lot of men would like, he's got a nice house and a nice place, and, no woman, no man is going to fill our void. No things. I've talked about this a lot of times. Only love, only Jesus, only God, only something sustainable from within can possibly fill that void. Gratitude and things like, that kind of thing. So if you are having a tough time, if you get into that space, think about what you have, and think about the people out there that have a life that you would never want to deal with. Like, I am so grateful I was born intellectually able and not, let's say, with cerebral palsy or muscular dystrophy or, polio, not polio, but, just some of these horrible things that I see people go through, chronic illnesses. And, while I think some of those are, people loving to play the victim and creating their own sicknesses and reality, there are people in wheelchairs. There are people that are 600 pounds. Not that I'm a skinny mini. I definitely have my own, little belly and weight issues I work with. However, I am generally fairly healthy and well and intelligent and articulate and able to hold conversations and have some kind of charisma. And I have 2 legs and feet that work, and I can do exercises. And yeah, I have my own aches and pains and things like that. That's probably mostly because I have been, physically not somebody who exercised a lot of my life. I'll play games, play football, baseball, whatever I did growing up. Always kind of active in that way. But yeah, I also sat around hanging out with girls and watching movies and doing things like that, probably more often than I should have. So if you're in the funk, if you're having a tough time, just remember how good you actually do have it, and a lot of the stuff you may be taking for granted, like the fact that you're not in a wheelchair, like the fact that you don't have some chronic illness, like you aren't living in some country, maybe you are, that you have to walk miles for clean water. You have food every day. If you're in America, where I'm at, even food, like you can go to the food bank, you can go to the shelter, you can go, you can get a shower for free in a lot of places. So we live in a space where there is almost always a way to eat decent food, have a nice shower at least a few times a week. And I just think that we really miss how hard life could be, especially in this country. At least in my experience from, some of the places I've traveled and stuff. So if you're having a tough time, remember how bad it could be. Not that that negates your tough time, or that it doesn't make it real based on relativity. It's just, for me, it's something I do to remind myself of how good I have it and how I really don't have, what I would call real problems. I still have my son. Yes, I've lost a lot of people, whether by death or choice, from their choice or mine even. And yes, there's sadness to that and pain to that. There's also positives to all these things as well. So I'm still breathing. I'm still able to walk. My body works. I never had to hurt anyone, like in a war, for instance, or any of these horrible things that I've heard from people that I would never want to have to deal with. So today I'm super grateful. I hope you are too. And if you're not, I hope this helped you be grateful and remind yourself about how bad it could actually be, and how, as much as you've been through some tough things, it could have always been worse, and it could always get even worse than that. So, stop and write a list or look around and see how good you actually do have it, and regain your perspective on how amazing life is, and, go help somebody. Get out of your head. I used to have a friend that told me, stay out of your head. Don't go in alone. It could be a scary neighborhood. So, yeah, enjoy your day. Be kind, be loving, be friendly, be a good neighbor, be the change you want to see here. I've always been someone, wanted to mention this, that, especially with my son, is, I never like the do as I say, not as I do thing. So if I can't do it, how can I expect someone else to do it? So if I want peace in this world and I'm not peaceful, how can I expect others to do that? I haven't proven that it's even possible to myself or others. So, be the peace you want to see. And if you can't do it, then stop expecting that from others. That's very self-righteous. If you get angry and expect others not to, lead by example, attraction, not promotion. So remember to be the change you want to see. Be a good friend. Be forgiving, be loving, keep working on yourself, keep growing, keep digging deeper. Don't be afraid. Read that poem by Marianne Williamson I mentioned in one of the other videos. Our deepest fear is not our darkness, it is our light that most frightens us. thelivingmysterychurch.org. I hope to hear from you soon, and I hope you have an amazing day.